Hello, I am Keyan Goh from DISM 2A03 and this is my SMW Journal 1 video. In this video, I will be covering 3 key elements from each lab, ranging from Lab 1 to Lab 3. These are the key elements for Lab 1. The first key element for Lab 1 is the setting up of the primary domain controller.
I am now on my Windows Server 2016. If I click on Server Manager and click on Local Server in the left hand pane, you can see that my computer name has been set to Keyan SMW Server 1 and the domain name has been set to smw.soc.com. The IP address of Ethernet 0 has also been set to 192.168.85.88. If you view the properties of Ethernet 0, you can see that I have set the values of the preferred DNS server to a static value, as this is to remove the false alarm of not connected being shown on the network icon on the bottom right hand corner. The second key element of Lab 1 is the adding of DNS and DHCP services to the domain controller. I am now in my server manager again. I am in the DHCP tab, and over here you can see that it's online, which means that it's up and running. If we take a look at the DHCP manager, you can see that I've added in an IPv4 scope. Adding in an active IPv4 scope will help provide dynamic address allocation services. If I click on the address pool tab, I can see the range of IP addresses that can be assigned to clients. If I click on the address leases tab, it will show the current IP address leases. And if I click on the scope options, it will show the scope options that have been configured. If I click on the DNS tab on the server manager, we can also see that my DNS server is online, which means that it is up and running. So this concludes that the DNS and DHCP services have both been added to the domain controller. The last key element for Lab 1 is joining a client to the domain. I am now on the Windows 10 client. First, right-click on the Start button, then click on System. After, click Advanced System Settings. Then Computer Name. Then click on Change. Over here, you can see that my computer name has been renamed to Client 1, and it is a member of the domain smw.soc.com. Thus, the full computer name will be client1.smw.soc.com. This ultimately shows that we have joined the Windows 10 client to the domain. Next, I'll be going over the key elements of Lab 2. Firstly, we will be using the Best Practice Analyzer. The Best Practice Analyzer is used to determine if one or more rules are installed and configured to follow the guidelines recommended by Microsoft. To run the BPA scan, go to Server Manager, click on Local Server, scroll all the way down till you find Best Practices Analyzer. Under Task, there should be a drop-down bar where you can click on it and see the button Start BPA Scan. Click on it and the BPA scan will start. Once the BPA scan is complete, it should look a little something like this. The analysis of each row yields one of the 3 levels of severity: information, warning, and error. Shall we try fixing one of these results? Okay, let's take a look. Over here, it says that there's a warning for scavenging not being enabled. So, if you click on it, it gives you more information about it. To fix this error, you have to go to DNS Manager. Once at DNS Manager, right-click to go into the properties. Next, go to Advanced, then click on Enable Automatic Scavenging of Stale Records, and click Apply. Then you can close it. Now if you rerun the BPA scan, this error should no longer be here. Next, we will be viewing the firewall rules that are set at the domain controller. On the domain controller, left click on the Windows button here, click on Windows Administrative Tools, scroll all the way down until you find Windows Firewall and Advanced Security. Click on it. Over here, you will be able to view the profiles that are firewall profiles that are currently active. You can click on the Inbound Rules tab to view the current firewall rules for inbound traffic restrictions. You can click on the Outbound Rules tab to view the rules for outbound traffic restrictions. And you can also click on the Monitoring tab to check the current state of your firewall. Lastly, for Lab 2, I will be covering the use of Remote Server Administration Tools, also known as RSAT. RSAT is a tool that enables IT administrators to remotely manage the Windows Server. This is important in terms of the real-world context, as in terms of security, the physical server should never be accessed physically, let alone its physical location be known. After installing RSAT on my Windows 10 client, what we can do is press Windows R and type MMC. This will open up the console. In the console, click on File, click on Add or Remove Snap-in, and click on Active Directory User and Computers. Click on Add and press OK, and this should pop up. Click the down arrow and you should see my domain name, smw.soc.com. For this example, I will be resetting the password of one of the accounts in the sales OU, which is here. Click on it, and you should see the users and computers inside the sales OU. What I'm going to do now is to reset the password of user 1. To do this, I'll right click on user 1 and press reset password. Now I'll type in the password. And click on OK. Now it will tell me that the password for user 1 has been changed. Now I will be covering the 3 key elements of Lab 3. The first key element of Lab 3 that I'll be covering is the demonstration of shared folder permissions. Shared folder permissions help to determine the type of access members of the domain have to the shared folders across the network. To enable shared folders, you need to turn on network discovery at the advanced sharing settings, which is right here. In my Windows Server 2012, I've created a shared folder called document KG, which is right here. As per the practical, domain managers will have read and write access to the shared folder, and other authenticated users will only have read access. Let's test this out. So first, I will log on to my Windows 10 client as MGR1 and access the shared folder using the network node over here. So what I'm gonna do is enter in the path of the share path, and as you can see, I'm now in document KG. So over here, I'm gonna create a new file called mgr1 test.txt. I'm gonna enter it and enter some information inside. Hello world. Now I'm gonna save it, and I'm gonna enter it again and edit hello everyone, and close it and save it again. This shows that Manager 1 has both read and write permissions on the shared folder. Now I will sign out of MGR1 and sign in as staff 1 on the Windows 10 client again. So I will do the same and enter in the share path in the network node over here. As you can see here, the file that I created using MGR1 is over here, and let's try to edit it. Let me add in some values like hello, and I'm going to try to save it. As you can see here, I'm unable to save it. It will give me this error saying that I do not have permission. This shows that this shows that staff 1 has only read permissions for this shared folder. Next, the second key element of Lab 3 that I'll be covering is the auditing of login and shared folder access. Under the Group Policy Management Editor in my domain controller, you can see that I've enabled auditing for the success and failure of the 3 events shown here: account logon events, directory service access, and object level access. Now if we head on over to our Windows Server 2012, you can see that I managed to capture the audit logs on the event viewer. We can actually use the filter log here, filter current log here, to filter out certain logs. So for example, if I select audit failure here and I click OK, it will show me all the audit failures that were captured. For example, a failed log-on that happened earlier. Lastly, the last key element of Lab 3 that I'll be demonstrating is the demonstration of roaming profile. Roaming profiles can be stored on a network server so that they are available to users regardless of the computers they use to log on. Let me demonstrate this. First, I am on my Windows Server 2016 and I'm signed into Manager 1. So let me create a new folder, test roam. And now I'm going to sign out of my Windows Server 2016. I will now go to my Windows 10 client and sign in as MGR1 again. As you can see here, the folder that we created in the Windows Server 2016 also appears here in the Windows 10 client. Roaming profiles are useful as users can log in to any computer within a network and have immediate access to their customized desktop settings, applications, and personal files, which eliminates the need to reconfigure settings and transfer files manually each time they switch computers. We have come to the end of this SMW Journal 1 video. This sums up the key elements of Lab 1 to 3. Thank you all for watching.